what led up to that fucking argument.
Come on, Scotty.
So what led up to the argument was, Tommy, we went to the Chris Brown fucking concert. We had the time of our life. Natalie got us backstage with Chris Brown. Once we was headed to our section with Chris Brown and a little back to wait till he was done. Why the did Tommy see Chris Brown baby and was like, oh, his baby is so cute, and they grabbed the baby and put him in the room? She smacked the door in.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
They went ballistic. Why would you do something like that? And it put me and Jonathan and Natalie in danger. We literally had to fight off 3 different because of what Tommy did. And she was drunk.
She started.
I don't even know if that's fine.
In a row.
This is the second time. We are in London, guys. We are in London. And then she started to proceed to scream out Chris Brown's baby. Chris Brown baby, like, why would you say something like that? And then once she started saying that, that's when everybody got activists, because you're being weird.
Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to give props where it's due, first and foremost. We can say a lot of things about Natalie. She can't fight. She a hellraiser. She always want to be center of attention. She never know how to just dial it back and play the background. We can say a lot of things about her. But one thing we could never say is call her an unfit mother. And we could never say she can't keep no man. Okay? Because if you ask me, her pros outweigh her cons. As in, the good qualities about her outweighs the bad qualities. If you know what I mean. When do we ever read an article, Natalie Nunn arrested for CPS allegations, mistreating her children, beating her children, Natalie Nunn husband filed for divorce? When have we ever read that? Think about it. When have we ever read that? When have we ever read Natalie Nunn abandons her children? We never have seen that. Okay? Every time you turn around, go look. Every time you turn around, she got that baby. Her and her husband on a truck somewhere. They all together. It's not like just one with the daughter, or he with the daughter and she not nowhere around, or she with the daughter, he not nowhere around. They always together. Okay? They've been married since 2012. Check the year now. Okay? They've been married over a decade. That's really good for somebody their age. We don't hear too often about couples being together, especially after that 7-year mark. They say the 7-year mark, a lot of guys get nervous, or even close leading up to the 7-year mark. He's still there with her. And he's a nice looking guy. So that really does mean something. Because sometimes when they nice looking like that, they get full of themselves. That goes to show he love her. He is devoted to her. We hear about couples getting married young, but how many of them actually stay together? I'm not talking about a girlfriend that's been a girlfriend for 8 years, or a fiance that's been a fiance for 5 years. I'm not talking about those, okay? So, because to me, if y'all been together over 2 years, in just my opinion, I think it's time to be together, married. If you know what I mean. But, I mean, you're not in a people relationship. You don't know what they go through. But that's just my opinion. I think after a certain amount of time, I think he's stringing you along. But, you know, that's my opinion again. If anybody is offended by that statement, a hit dog holler. Because, I mean, that's just my opinion. Like I said, right? So, with that being said, Natalie, they've been together for some time. So to me, that makes a statement. They together for the long haul. Now, unless the future proves otherwise or shows otherwise, other than that, let's say they together, they say they do 15 years, right? And they say, you know what, it didn't work out, Either way, they was together for a long time. Now, me being the person that I am, I wouldn't want to come behind somebody that been together how can I say this? Okay. Let's say they've been together for 15 years, right? I'm just throwing a number out there. And let's say, for example, they say, you know how people say, when my parents were together X amount of years and they decided to get a divorce. I wouldn't want to be the woman that came behind the wife that's been in the picture for 20 years. That's just me. Some women don't mind, but me personally, I'm very selfish. So, like I told y'all, I'm the only child. So, I don't want to be the woman that comes after that many years, because I feel like in your heart of heart, it's your heart is still with her. You know, that's just the way I think. Now, with that being said, not to put anything on their relationship, I'm just throwing it out there. Natalie has made a mark in this man's life. Okay, so moral of the story, people can say what they want to say about Natalie, but it has to be some good qualities to her. Okay, and to me, the good outweigh the bad with her, because it's how the old saying go, what people see on TV, social media, that's one thing. But what really defines you is how you treat your friends and your family. Okay? At the end of the day, so obviously the things that matter the most to her, she holds close to her heart. Okay? She holds those close to her heart. And she, that's really what she, how can I say it? Like she knows how to treat people that means a lot to her, basically. And that's what really matters the most at the end of the day, because how do we know her being on Zeus Bad Girls Club, and you know, how do we know that's not a front? That's just what she do for money. How do we know she just not being an entertainer? Sometimes, as we know, how they act on these shows, my speech impediment kicking in. Anyway, how do we know how they act on these shows is, you know, who they really are? As we all know, sometimes that's really their character in real life, but sometimes it's not. Like, I'm going to just be honest. I think Tommie acting this way on these TV shows, I really think that's really who she is. I do. Because she's that way with her family as well. Okay? She's that way with the people in customer service in the hotels. She's that way on the TV shows. I think that's who she is all around. Versus Natalie, I don't think she's that way with her family and her friends. When do we ever hear about her close childhood friends? We've seen her post pictures with her childhood friends. When do we ever hear them say Natalie's a fraud? We hear bitches in the street say stuff like that. We don't hear the people that's close to her say that. So I think to be honest, I think they're cut from different cloths. I do, because it's the way they carry it with the people that are close to them. Really, that's the way how you define a person. We never heard people close to Natalie say she's unloyal. We only heard bitches in the street say that. You're a bitch in the street to her. Of course you're gonna say something like that. You're trying to paint the picture that she's a horrible person. Now, with that being said, Natalie do got some stank with her, as we can all see. I run LA. That was so annoying. That's number one. Number two, remember when that girl had beat the brakes off of her for talking about her child? I ain't forgot that. She does got some stank with her. But we not gonna sit here and act like it's all stank and ain't no good qualities to her. Because it definitely is. But with that being said, at the end of the day, they both need to get themselves together, because they're both our parents. At the end of the day, and they have girls. Out of all things, they have girls. Natalie's baby, if I'm not mistaken, she not grown yet. Yeah. So she still has some time with her. So yeah. Other than that, so Going to Tommy. Tommy. Time is out for the nonsense, boo. You are not on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta anymore. You know, it's just enough. I mean, we don't even see Jocelyn do this like we used to. Now, I do think that part of the reason why we don't is because she's not on Zeus anymore. So it's kind of like, ever since that stuff happened with Amber, we don't even hear much from Jocelyn anymore. I think she burnt that bridge. For what I was hearing, they had to get Amber a payout. And when you start costing the company money, they can do without you, really. I bet they probably cut ties with her very peacefully because as we can see, she be partying with them sometimes. So, yeah, they probably cut ties with her peacefully. But other than that, Tommy, you could pick up a knife and cack it together all day, every day. But you're going to be just like Jocelyn. If you would have carried that act through, they would have cut ties with you. You would have burnt that bridge. And you probably would have been in jail because from my understanding on these shows, y'all sign contracts of, y'all can't sue or whatever. But to my understanding, it's a certain extent of where things could go only but so far. And that's probably one of those things where it can't go that far. But I can't put nobody down or talk about nobody for picking up a knife in the fight because I told y'all before, it's no secret I have stabbed a girl before. What was a diet? And I remember one time when 2 girls was about to jump me and I opened my door and they was coming up to me and then I had my little, it's really a pocket knife, but some people said it was like a mini machete. It was not a mini machete, but some people said it looked like it could have been one. But I did that because I told y'all before, I have gotten jumped before. So after I got jumped, they never got me on the ground, but if it was 3 girls, they probably would have, but it was only 2. The girl and her mama. I told y'all there's gonna be a story time one day. But nonetheless, I told myself after that happened, I would never let nobody jump me again. So I put myself, got a little protection in my car and stuff like that. And I keep stuff in my purse. Anyway, so nonetheless. So I can't talk about Tommy for picking up, a knife. I know people are saying, she a horrible person because she picked up a knife and that's so wrong and da-da-da. I can't say that because you're going to do what you got to do when you feel is necessary. Now, like I told y'all, when I was at Burger King that time and I was going through the drive-thru, me and the girl had words and all I know is I saw 2 other girls coming, like they wanted to run up to my truck. So I just, I opened my door and, I ain't make no, I told y'all, I'm not one of them people that carry protection, but like, I got it on me. I got it on me. You just run up on me and see what's up. Now, all that cackling and knife together and all that other stuff, I wouldn't have did that. I would have let her run up to me, and then that's just what it, like with the dike. You run up on me. She didn't even know I had that on me. Nobody knew. I was in our alternative school at that time. So I had snuck it in. That's gonna be a story time for another day. But nonetheless, so I'm not gonna say Tommy is a horrible person because, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't have cacked it together. I would have had it on me, and if she would have ran up on me, like when them girls, they want to run up on me, and one on, how you how you saw the meme with a baby be in the passenger seat, and the mama may put out her arm, like if she put on brakes. I know y'all done seen that meme before, so I'm just using that for an example. When one of the girls had saw that I had something in my hand, she had put her arm out in front of the other girl, like, wait a minute, she got something in her hand. And the other girl said, oh, hell no, what the F is that? So I ain't make no big announcement and you just would have ran up on me and you would have been the next person that got sliced. Point blank period. And that wasn't even the knife that I had sliced the other girl with. That was a whole different, so, I'm just saying, just because she has something on her or she take out something, that does not make her a bad person. You're going to do what you feel you need to do. Now, with that being said, Tommie is still too old for that. Okay? She's still too old for that. And it's kind of like one of those things where, wait a minute, ain't Natalie some type of executive producer or something? I think I was reading somewhere. I can't remember. Is she some type of executive producer or something? You better be careful because you don't know who she know in certain places that can, make that call, if you know what I mean. To be honest, I'm kind of out of touch with both of them because I feel like they're too old. They're too old. Now, I know everybody matures at different paces in life and, Tommie has children not far in age from me, which if I'm not mistaken, Tommie is a grandmother now. If I'm not mistaken, she had a daughter that was pregnant that she kept trying to get an abortion, and the daughter kept saying she wasn't going to get it. So her and Tommie fell out for that. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not against when they said Tommie, her daughter was cutting up in school and she came up there and, whatever. I'm not going to say that makes her a bad mom because I'm going to say this. As you all know, I got my dudes beat me growing up, but then as I get older, I gotta take into consideration I was a rebellious child. Okay, so when you have a rebellious child at home, you have to deal with them a certain type of way. Okay, you cannot deal with them the same way that you're gonna deal with your child that doesn't give you no problems. Now, with that being said, just because they don't give you no problems, like I always tell y'all, that does not mean they are the perfect child. Okay, now I'm gonna say this to paint a picture, go circling back to Tommie. Okay, think about it. I done got beat with switches, extension cords, curtain rods, fly swatters, pancake turners, you name it. My dudes beat me with, did I mention belts as well? But you got to think about it. I was always suspended. I was always expelled. It be times when I could get suspended for fighting 10 days. Come back to school, fighting 10 more days. Suspended 10 more days. Okay, come back to school, fighting 10 more days. You think I'm lying? Like these were the facts. I used to fight, and if I fight one, the sister gonna get mad. I done fought her sister, beat up her sister. Then the cousin gonna come. So then I gotta fight you when I come back to school. Like, I was back to back suspended. Then you gotta remember my dukes. My papa had stage 3 cancer. Okay, so that was already a lot on my dukes dealing with him. And then I keep getting, at the time he had stage 3 cancer, God rest his soul. So then I kept getting suspended. So it be times when my dudes would come out to school and just be hitting me like, what the hell, why you can't act right? But you know what? That don't mean that they were horrible persons because they were beating my ass. But it's like I kept making the grades. I kept making the honor roll and stuff like that. But I kept getting put out of school. So it was like my teachers will always tell me and my parents, she'll be all right if she just learn how to act. Because the grades and the behavior is not matching. Like I told y'all, I used to get picked on real bad in school. Now, because I was, real heavy chested. My body was maturing. So, with that being said, that doesn't mean they were horrible persons because obviously they did something right. Okay, I graduated high school. I graduated college. I'm going to grad school. I don't have any children. I live alone. I have my own car. I have my own crib. You know, I have a 700 credit score. So they did something right. Okay. So I say that to paint a picture. You know, like I always tell people, I was telling somebody the other day, just because you have 2 children and one is good and one is bad, you might not want to X the other one out, because I'm going to tell you something. I went to school at a time with somebody I told y'all before that had a good Judy. And she was always quiet. She didn't get her dad no problems. She was a B and C student, so that was good enough for him, long as she didn't give him no problems. And he used to always look down on me because I used to stay in school, suspended in school. Now look, let him tell her she was God's gift to the world. Because he never had to go to school, up to school for her. He never this, he never that. Now look, she's on the welfare. She has kids she can't take care of. Well, a kid she can't take care of. She's still having trouble getting up on her feet. She got put out of college for fighting over a boy. You see what I'm saying? So, and let him tell her I was so this and that. And I never forget the night she called me. I'm just painting a picture for y'all, right? I'm just, I do get off topic a lot, but I'm just painting a picture for y'all. But you'll see how this relates back to Tommy. One time going back to school, we was in school. We stayed real close together, right? So we stayed in the same neighborhood, like literally walking distance from each other. The bus didn't come, and her dad was going to take her to school. My dudes was still working, so I had to figure out how I'm going to get to school because they was working. So my dude said, well, go and get, she had like some cash or something in her thing, and she was like, go get this and ask him if you get him gas money. Since he about to take so-and-so to school, can he take you too? So he told her, long story short, he told her no, because he didn't want me in his truck and this, that, and the third. And I was a bad influence because I kept getting suspended and da-da-da. This the same girl I told you about that he never knew, but you got to watch them, the quiet ones, because them be the freaky ones. He didn't know she had boys coming in the front door and they coming out the back door. You get what I'm saying? Like, he be at work, and by the time he come home, she sneaking him out the back door. That's the same friend with a good Judy I told you about. So, fast forward into, okay, I told y'all I got put out of college, community college, when me and the girl got to fighting and her mama jumped me, and that's the time I got jumped, right? Okay, as you know, and I graduated college. God kept me going. It's all good. Right. Boom. This is the same one I told you about when I was still going to community college. Those are 2 different people. The one that I was fighting in community college versus this is the one that we stayed in touch after high school, right? So boom. She was going to a school some type of way. We was going to 2 different schools. She was telling me something about a guy she was talking to. Long story short, the girl got mad. I never had to fight over a guy. So I always told her, okay, if she want him that bad, let it be. You see what I'm saying? She ain't want to. I guess she couldn't let it go. Me personally, I think it's too many options out here for you to be stuck on, one, if that's the case. The girl told her to leave him alone. She wouldn't leave him alone. They got to fighting. Next thing I know, she called me. Now, Pete, this the same. Her daddy. Remember, her daddy said back in the day, I wasn't good enough to be around her. Da da da. When she got when she got in that fight that time, right? Well, she thinks she got jumped, but I don't know. I won't dare. I told her, I said, well, do you think they jumped you? She said both of them came up on her. The story was so shaky because she was calling me. She was in a rage. So she said, my daddy said he can come get you. He want me and you to go out there. So I kind of was taken back. I'm like, you mean this the same daddy that said back in the day, I wasn't good enough to be around you, right? And she was like, well, yeah, but so she caught an attitude with me, right? Ever since this situation, we ain't never really been. It's been other things that happened after that, but you know how you say something that somebody don't want to hear and it seems like they got an attitude with you. So, so I said, but why? I'm good enough to come fight with you, but I wasn't good enough back in the day to be around you. You know, so I was asking a lot of those questions. So, you know, it was a lot. It was a lot. And she caught an attitude. So ever since then, she had an attitude, and she would try to play me in situations. That's going to be a story time, the downfall of being her. Because ever since that situation, and I don't know if y'all remember that website called Uvu. It was like a webcam website. And back in the day, I think it was OOVOO. And we was on Uvu with some guys, because I was always trying to introduce her to new guys. Moments leading up to, you know. And one time we was on Uvu after the fight, and she just had a real big black eye. And I said, well, girl, what happened to your eye? You know? And she said, this is why my daddy wanted you to come with me and fight. I said, that girl black your eye like that? She said, no, I think they jumped me. I said, well, how do you think they jumped you? Either they did or they didn't. So I remember my dude saying, nah, they probably jumped her. They just whooped her ass. It wasn't funny, but I don't mock people getting jumped, because I have been jumped before, like really. I was fighting the girl, I would turn her ass up, and her mama came behind me, yanking me by my hair, like, oh no, not my baby. I got a lot of story times I'm gonna tell y'all one day. But anyway, the moral of the story is, don't be so quick to ask your child out because she's problematic. Okay. Tommie, if I'm not mistaken, she has 2 daughters from what I was reading. And I was reading in the article how people were saying the other daughter ain't no angel. But she showed favoritism to the other daughter because she's not problematic. So Tommie thinks. You see what I'm saying? Versus the daughter that's always giving her problems. Okay, she got pregnant. Okay, but is she still going to school? Is she still trying to make something out of herself? So now you get where I'm going with it. Don't be so quick to ask out your children because you got one that don't give you problems and the other one do. Okay, that's neither here nor there. All right, because you'll be surprised who's the one that God may put his hand on in her life, and she could do a whole 360. Okay, you'll be surprised. Now, with that being said, as for Tommie, I think she has other things to worry about. I think she needs to worry about fixing a relationship with her children. And it does not need to be on TV. It does not need to be on social media. It needs to be a personal thing in-house. Okay? She needs to spend less time fighting with these chicks on Zeus, Now That's TV, Instagram, Facebook, whatever the case may be. Spend less time fighting with them and spend more time with her children. Okay? It seems like these days when you tell a bitch to go spend time with her kids, all of a sudden, you talk about my kids. But that does not mean somebody's talking about your children because they're telling you, go spend time with your kids. We're trying to tell you, go be a mom. Go be a mom. If I had children, when I tell you, it's nothing that no bitch could tell me on social media or say about me that would get energy out of me, because all my energy would be invested in my children. Okay? You bitches could not get a rise out of me at all if I had kids. The energy that I'm investing in you will be the energy that I could be putting into my kids. And y'all not worth my kids. Y'all not worth half of my kids. Like, that's not what we doing. Okay? Now, with that being said, yeah, I think Tommie needs to get herself together. If I'm not mistaken, she's pushing 40. She's closer to 40 than she is to 30. So I'm expecting 40-year-old woman vibes from you. Like, I'm expecting you to be on your grown woman now. As we all know, maturity is not just a age. It's a behavior. It's a lifestyle. I'm expecting you to be, giving off, different vibes than what you are. Okay, if I'm in my mid-20s and I know it's time out for certain shit, you should as well. But yeah. So with that being said, I think they both need to get themselves together. And that's just that on that.